Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to show you how to make peach cobbler. First, I'm going to show you the supplies that I use, kiddos. So you're going to need a teaspoon, measuring cup, fork, spatula, a skillet, an 8x9 bakeware, and we're going to need a few other things, but we're going to come back to that. Then for the ingredients, we're going to have 2 cans of peaches and heavy syrup, sugar, brown sugar, for the spices, cinnamon and nutmeg, and also salt. And for the crust, I like to use pre-made pie crust. You will need 2 of them and just a little bit of butter. I prefer to use pre-made pie crust, but you can use whatever you like. To get started, first we're going to drain our 2 cans of peaches, and we're going to put our strainer on top of a bowl because we're going to catch the juice. Please do not throw away the juice at this time. It's really important that we keep it, and always make sure you clean as you go. And set that aside. Next, we're going to start with our cinnamon sugar. Just grab a half a cup of sugar, dashes of cinnamon, and we're going to make sure that is well combined. Whisk it with a fork, and make sure that you scrape the bottom of the bowl to catch the cinnamon that likes to fall to the bottom. So make sure that it's well combined, and we're just going to whisk it and set it aside till it's time to use it for our crust. Next is we're going to make our syrup. So we're going to combine our white sugar and brown sugar. Take our spices with a pinch of salt and go ahead and put that in and get it combined. Then we're going to take our spatula, turn the heat on to about medium high. But you don't want it on high, you also don't want it on low. So go ahead and make sure that it's right at a medium, and then we're going to go ahead and get started and just start crumbling our sugar mixture. And the reason why I like to do this on top of the stove is because I want to awaken the cinnamon and the nutmeg. It just gives it a intense flavor within the peaches and the syrup. And you want to make sure that you combine the white sugar and the brown sugar so you don't have clumps when we add in our liquid. So just make sure you get that well combined and nice and smooth. And remember the peach juice that we saved? This is when we're about to add it into our sugar. So again, make sure that the sugar is nice and lump free. If it's a little bit of lumps, that's okay. And add in your juice, 2 teaspoons at a time. And just a little bit, just go by little. And when you're adding in your juice, and make sure you stir at all times, because if you do not do that and you just let it sit, you can easily burn your syrup, and you do not want that to happen. Once sugar burns, it's no turning back, and it'll be really, really hard to get it back into a consistent basis, and so you'll have to start all over. So make sure you stir really well, get in the corners, get to the bottom, and make sure there's no lumps or bumps. And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in our peaches nice and gently. Make sure you don't have any lumps. So add in your peaches and gently just toss them around just a little bit. You don't have to do a lot of stirring. You don't have to be aggressive. Just let it get in there so the peaches can marry in with the cinnamon and the nutmeg and get all happy, and then set it to the side. Next, we're going to prepare our pan. I have a couple tablespoons of melted butter, and I'm just going to take a brush, or you can use a spoon, and brush along the pan. Then add in your first layer of your pie crust. Make sure that it's in there nice and snug. Make sure the corners are in there. If you accidentally tear a piece of the pie crust, that's okay. Just pinch it together. It doesn't have to be perfect. And just make sure that it's nice in there, nice and snug. I like to put the edges over my dish so it can help seal when I add in the top layer. And then make sure we're going to get a fork, and we're going to put a few holes into the bottom of the pan so that when we add our peaches and we cover it, it won't create a lot of air in the bottom of it to where it can explode, because that can happen. So it's really important that we poke a few holes into the bottom of the pan, and then take some more of your melted butter and just add it onto the bottom of that sheet. If you don't like too much butter, that's okay. You can skip this step, but I promise you this will just make the crust taste so good along with the peaches and the syrup that will go with it. So I like to put it all in the corners and on the top, and it will also help me seal in the top crust when we get to that point. So I just like to brush all the edges, the sides, and then we're about to add our peaches in. Look at that syrup. Look how the specks of cinnamon and nutmeg is on the peaches. And so what we're going to do next is take all these peaches, and you want to make sure you use a spoon when you do this, because we're not going to add in all the syrup. So take your spoon or a spatula and add in your peaches. And then I like to take my measuring cup and add in about a half a cup to a cup of the juice into the pan. And I also like to add in a couple tablespoons of butter. It's not necessary, but it's a great option. And you do not have to add in all that juice, guys. I just like to add in just a little bit to give that extra goodness. And then we're going to top it off with another layer of our pie crust. And just make sure you seam the edges. So I just like to trim the edges off. Now what you can do, you can roll the extra dough that you get from trimming it, roll it in a ball, make some and then flatten it out with a roller, and then make some cute cutouts, put it right on top, or you can just throw it away, do whatever you like. So and at the end, I just like to seam it in, push it up and push it in, pull it up, pull in, just like that. And I like to make sure that seam gets in there real good, just like that, guys. And again, like I said, you can make it any way you like. You don't have to do it this way. You can make it super pretty, or you can leave it alone. You can add designs. It's all how you want to do it. And so, again, I like to take that melted butter, spread some more right on top, just so that when we bake it, it has a nice golden crust. And then remember that cinnamon sugar that we set aside earlier? We're going to take that cinnamon sugar, sprinkle it right on top of our peach cobbler, and make sure you get it real good, just like that. Be generous. You can add as much as you want. You can, or if you just want a little sprinkle, that's up to you as well. But it just adds another beautiful crunch, and it just looks so pretty once it's baked. And then make sure you have your oven set for 400, and this is going to bake for about 30 to 35 minutes. And this is the final touches. You see that golden brown from the butter and the sugar, and you see that specks. It's just beautiful. And look at the juices that came from the corner. This is a beautiful peach cobbler, guys, and it's so good. And look at that crunch. You can just see how it's just perfect. And so I'm going to show you guys what it looks like in a little bit. Oh my goodness. And it'll be perfect. This peach cobbler is perfect with homemade whipped cream, Cool Whip, or some vanilla bean ice cream. Any way you want it. I like to eat it fresh, hot, with some vanilla bean ice cream. I love Bluebell, but you know I live in Nebraska and we don't have that. But look at the peaches getting nice and tender. The syrup got a little bit thicker. The crust is chewy in the inside and a little crunchy on the outside. Just perfect. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Happy Girl Sweets in the Kitchen. I really hope you liked this video that I showed today. Please let me know if you like this video, and also let me know if you decide to make it. Take care and have a good day.